Professional services firm PwC says it's been keeping a keen eye on the social media posts of South African consumers scouring for your shopping experience at the country's major retailers. The company, South African Retail Sentiment Index, collated more than 1.5 million social media posts where shoppers shared their views on different retail brands and have released some interesting results. The brands tracked include Woolworths, Pick n Pay, Spar, Checkers, Shoprite and Food Lovers Market. We're now joined by PwC South Africa Experience Consulting leader Riaan Singh. Riaan, welcome to Newzroom Afrika. Just tell us how you were able to look through those social media posts and what kind of information you found there.
Hi, thanks for having me. So the way the index works is we work with our data partner, Data EQ, who use a combination of artificial intelligence and human beings to validate the sentiment online. So typically artificial intelligence by itself isn't that accurate at categorizing sentiment. You can imagine someone posting online, thanks very much for keeping me waiting for 5 hours. Pure AI might see that as a compliment and put a positive sentiment to it. But once you get a human being to validate that, we can actually realize it's sarcasm. So through a combination of using the artificial intelligence as the first round screening and then getting human beings to go afterwards and validate it, we're able to get to a very high level of accuracy in terms of both understanding the sentiment and then the topic that consumers are talking about online.
So you tallied the numbers. What are some of the key findings you were able to find from the shopping experiences that we shared on our mobile phones?
So I think a few things to talk to. So I think overall, the retail industry had a positive sentiment online. So that means South African consumers expressed more praise than criticism towards retailers online. I think often we have this perception that social media is a place where consumers go to only complain, but for the retail industry, they're in a net positive perspective. So that actually is quite interesting. And then when we looked at the breakdowns of categories, from an operational perspective, retailers, we focused on 3 different types of categories. So pricing, customer service, and product offerings. And we saw some really interesting trends amongst the 3. Customer service was quite negative, so it was about minus 70% on average. So in general, consumers had a lot of complaints across the retail industry in terms of turnaround times and how retailers were handling their queries. Products were very positive, so it was plus 20%. So consumers were generally full of praise for the products that they engaged with and purchased from retailers. And the most interesting one was around pricing, which was positive, plus 32%. And in this difficult economy, it wasn't so much affordability that consumers were praising. Retailers, cognizant of the difficult pocket situations that consumers have, targeted a lot of specials, campaigns, a lot of discounts, and so consumers reacted favorably online to all of these pricing promotions that retailers were sending their way.
Now, in one of the segments, Woolworths emerged as the clear winner among all the brands with their net sentiment of positive 19.2%, far ahead of the industry average of 3.3%. What were the shoppers mostly impressed by when it comes to Woolies?
I think there were a few things where Woolworths clearly led across all the retailers. So when I break it down to those 3 categories, pricing, customer service, and product offering, Woolworths were actually perceived by consumers to be the leaders in all 3 categories. And where they had the biggest gaps over their rivals was around pricing and product offering. So in terms of product offering, the Woolworths house brands, the quality associated with those brands, consumers were full of praise online for the Woolies product offerings. And from a pricing perspective, I think it's almost counterintuitive because we think of Woolworths as a premium brand, but it wasn't so much consumers talking about how cheap Woolworths was, but it was really around the perception of value. And again, a lot of the pricing promotions that Woolworths ran that consumers reacted positively to.
We are living in tight financial times, as you said earlier. How many of the posts spoke about discounted prices, deals, affordable products, and also the convenience of having groceries delivered, for instance?
I think it was pretty well spread in between pricing, customer service, and product offering. The delivery services garnered a major portion of conversation online. What we saw was that consumers actually spoke mostly to physical facilities more than they spoke to digital, but a lot of the criticism was around the physical experience that they had in store. And generally there was quite a lot of criticism around the turnaround times for the delivery experiences, particularly around turnaround times. Consumers struggling to get answers from those delivery services when those brands were delivering, and then also the replacement effects, which caused a lot of criticism when the brands weren't able to completely fulfill those orders and had to replace some of those goods with other goods.
I've got about 6 loyalty cards in my wallet, and because these programs have become more popular amongst shoppers, especially when they shave off a few rands from their total at the till. So which loyalty cards were the most liked by consumers?
I can't get into which was the most liked. I think the Smart Shopper card had the highest volume in terms of conversation, both positive and negative. And I think what we're seeing is that generally there's a trend where loyalty programs need to deliver more than just simple points for discounts. I think what consumers are asking for is a sense of community building. They're asking for better experiences. And we really see those brands that are able to differentiate around their loyalty programs can turn that into a source of competitive advantage.
So Big Brother is watching, of course, PwC coming through there with a market look at what social media is saying in terms of the retail brands that are available in South Africa. Thank you very much for that, Riaan.